Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Uncensored 911 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day and you are all getting ready for the holidays. In today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at what really happens on the streets when 911 is called and listen to the 911 calls as well. Plus, I will give you the backstories too.
Chicago Emergency, Walter.
Hi, there was a shooting at Monticello and the 606 at Bloomingdale. They just left. It was a black car. It looks like there's a guy down, and there's 3 other people there. They have a gray car. It's like 1 block north of the 606 off of Bloomingdale. The people took off north on Monticello in a black car.
Okay. Do it appear that that person is shot?
I see somebody limping. I'm not sure. I'm kind of far away.
Okay. Okay, we'll send them out, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
On November 1st, 2022, an officer-involved shooting occurred that morning at approximately 7:07 a.m. outside a repurposed streets and sanitation facility at 1827 North Monticello Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. On-duty police officers in Belwomini and Mark Heinzel, assigned to the mayor's detail, were working at the location of the incident when they heard a civilian yelling for help outside. The officers exited the city facility and observed a suspected armed robbery across the street. 2 males were standing over a civilian that was on the ground. Both male subjects ran to a stolen SUV that was stationary in the middle of the street. Before entering the SUV, the front passenger fired at the officers and both officers returned fire. The same subject fired again from inside the SUV, and then the subjects drove away and were never captured or identified. The incident was captured on surveillance video from the city facility. On November 1st, 2022, at approximately 6:55 a.m., the victim was seated in his vehicle in front of 1824 North Monticello Avenue, when a dark-colored SUV stopped in the middle of Monticello Avenue just past the victim's vehicle. 3 black males exited the SUV and ran to the victim's vehicle. 1 male had a firearm in his hand, subject number 1, and he opened the front passenger door of the victim's vehicle, pointed the weapon at his head, and demanded money. Another male opened the driver's side door, subject number 2, and he too demanded money. Subject number 1 also ran to the driver's side, and he and subject number 2 pulled the victim out of the vehicle and removed his wallet from his pants pocket. Having knowledge that police officers worked at the city facility across the street, the victim began yelling for help, at which point subject number 1 pushed the victim to the ground. Officers Belwomini and Heinzel were inside the city facility when they heard the victim yelling for help outside. Officer Belwomini looked out the window and observed the SUV in the middle of the street. She and Officer Heinzel then proceeded out the front door, and Officer Belwomini walked towards the south end of the building, and Officer Heinzel walked towards the north end, but remained near the front entrance. The officers observed subjects number 1 and number 2 across the street with the victim on the ground. The officers suspected a carjacking or robbery was in progress, so they both removed their firearms from their holsters. Subject number 2 ran to the driver's side of the SUV, and subject number 1 ran around the SUV, and before entering the front passenger side, he shot in the direction of Officers Belwomini and Heinzel. Officers Belwomini and Heinzel then returned fire. Subject number 1 then entered the SUV and discharged his weapon again from inside the vehicle through the closed window, causing the front passenger window to shatter. Officer Belwomini attempted to take cover but lost her balance and fell to the ground. 6 The SUV and its occupants then fled the scene northbound on Monticello Avenue. Officer Belwomini stood up, and she and Officer Heinzel ran across the street to check on the victim and told the officers that the subjects took his wallet and money. Officer Heinzel ran back across the street to the city facility and notified Sergeant Jermaine Young of what happened. OEMC was notified of the incident, and minutes later, assisting officers arrived at the scene. A civilian approached officers and stated that he had been robbed that morning by 3 black males driving an SUV, purportedly by the same subjects. 8 During the walkthrough at the location of the incident, CPD members informed COPA personnel that there were approximately 5 to 6 robberies in the area that morning prior to the police shooting, and additional robberies and/or a home invasion purportedly by the same individuals post-incident. 9 Also, while at the location of the incident, CPD. Members informed COPA personnel that the involved SUV was located abandoned at 1602 N. Spalding Avenue. 10. The passenger side of the SUV had damage consistent from fired bullets and the steering column was peeled. Evidence technicians, ETs, recovered 4 shell casings inside the SUV. This next set of calls and footage involves an officer-involved incident that took place on August 12, 2022.
Chicago emergency, looking my own.
Yes, there were just approximately 10 gunshots at 2153 West Adams.
Did you see anything?
I did not, but this same house had 2 shootings last night.
Okay, we'll get police out there. What was your name and phone number?
I'd like to remain anonymous, please.
Okay, we'll keep you anonymous. We'll get police out there.
Thank you.
Genuine type of guy, you can sense that.
Please remain anonymous. I'm at West Adams Street. I just heard gunshot right across the street from me.
How many?
I think it was 9.
Okay, 9 shots. Did you say anything?
No, I just heard somebody screaming there. I don't want to look out the window. I live on the 2nd floor.
Okay, we'll send police.
The address is 2153 West Adams Street.
Okay, we'll send the police, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
On August 12, 2022, the Chicago Police Department was involved in an officer-involved shooting near 2100 West Adams Street. Based on preliminary information, the incident began when members of the department monitoring a police observation device observed an individual wielding a firearm. Officers responded to the location and one officer discharged their weapon, striking the individual, who was taken to the hospital. A gun was recovered on scene. This next call and footage takes place on July 29, 2022 outside of a Subway sandwich shop where an officer-involved incident occurred.
Chicago, Mr. Show.
Hey, Nagel and Foster, we got shots fired.
Nagel and Foster?
Nagel and Foster. Nagel and Higgins.
Nagel and Higgins. How many shots?
Yeah. About 3.
3 gunshots, all right. 4.
There was a car doing burnouts. It sounds like it crashed into something. I'm kind of walking over there. I saw one guy running, and I heard.
Which direction you see somebody running, and what were they wearing?
I couldn't tell what they were wearing, but they took off towards Mulligan. They ran through the lot and into Mulligan.
All right, you want me to leave your name and number?
What's that?
You want to leave your name and your number?
Yeah, sure.
All right, get someone over.
There were 2 press releases associated with this incident. The first press release says, based on preliminary information, the incident began when members of the department were inside a Subway restaurant located in a commercial plaza at 5200 North Nagel Avenue, and their attention was drawn to a vehicle outside, which prompted them to investigate further. The officers briefly followed the vehicle, which drifted through the intersection before crashing into a nearby light pole. As the 2 suspects fled, one officer discharged their firearm, without striking either suspect. Officers pursued the suspects, who were taken into custody. A firearm, not believed to be used in the incident, was recovered inside the vehicle. The second press release says, on July 29, 2022, there was an officer-involved shooting near 6400 West Higgins Avenue. The incident began when members of the department were inside a Subway restaurant located in a commercial plaza at 5200 North Nagel Avenue, and their attention was drawn to a vehicle outside, which prompted them to investigate further. The officers briefly followed the vehicle, which drifted through the intersection before crashing into a nearby light pole. As the 2 suspects fled, one officer discharged their firearm, without striking either suspect. Officers pursued the suspects who were taken into custody. A firearm, not used in the incident, was recovered inside the vehicle. The investigation concluded the use of deadly force was not in accordance with department policy and training, said First Deputy Chief Administrator Ephraim Edie. COPA received notification from the department regarding the accused officer's resignation effective April 26, 2023. This next set of calls and footage took place on July 9, 2021. The U.S. Marshal Service and the Cook County Sheriff's Department attempted to apprehend a suspect.
Advising that Chicago calls for paramedics. The fire department, please. Additional paramedics.
Chicago emergency. Yes, they're shooting around. There's constant shooting. I don't know where it is because I'm on the floor, but it sounds like it's on my block somewhere. Okay, how many shots? It's just constant? Oh, my God. It's well over 20. Okay. All right, we'll send the police that way. Thank you. Sure. Chicago Emergency Lodge.
Yes, gunshots fired on Kilpatrick and Monroe. I just passed through there. Thank God I didn't get shot. They're going crazy over there.
How many shots?
Many, at least 16.
All right. Okay. I'll send the police. You want to give
Thank
your
you
name?
so much.
Okay. All right, ma'am.
Chicago Fire Department, Booker, how can I help you?
Hi, we're looking for paramedics to be on the scene at 109 North Kilpatrick.
109 North Kilpatrick?
Yes. We have some CPD units on scene, but we don't know if they asked for an ambulance or not. We have Sheriff's Office units en route. Shots were fired at the police. We have an ambulance being requested.
Okay, someone was shot?
We're not sure. They're just asking for an ambulance.
Okay, 109 North Kilpatrick. That's Washington and Kilpatrick.
How many units down there in Kilpatrick? Do we need additional ambulances at that location?
All right, Crespo County, thank you.
Sir, can you hear me?
No, we don't need additional. We just need
No, I'm sorry.
now they're shooting around now.
I don't know what else to tell you. They're looking for an ambulance at 109 North Kilpatrick.
Okay, now who's looking for an ambulance?
This is the Cook County Sheriff's Police. We are on scene with Chicago Police. What's your call number?
Okay.
And they need an ambulance.
Okay. Was the person shot?
We do not know.
Okay. We'll send some help over.
Thank you.
Can I have a call back for you?
847-635-1188.
Thank you.
We do have one person shot.
Okay. We're on the way.
Thank you.
According to the final summary report that was put out by the police department on July 9, 2021, members of the Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force were assigned to locate and apprehend the suspect who had active arrest warrants for sexual assault and escape. The Fugitive Task Force members included U.S. Marshal Justin McLeod and 5 Cook County Sheriff's investigators, CCSIs. At approximately 9:40 a.m., the Fugitive Task Force located the suspect near a black Jeep parked in the vicinity of Kilpatrick Avenue and Monroe Street. They observed the suspect with a firearm and requested assistance from the Chicago Police Department. At approximately 9:46 a.m., CPD members including Officer Joseph Napoleon, Officer Cameron Mays, and Officer Nicholas Esquivel arrived on scene. The Fugitive Task Force related that the suspect was inside the Jeep, waving around what appeared to be a firearm. The Fugitive Task Force and CPD officers repeatedly yelled for the suspect to drop the gun and show his hands, but he did not comply. As Officer Napoleon approached the Jeep with a protective shield, he reportedly observed the suspect point the gun in his direction. Officer Napoleon discharged his weapon one time, shattering the Jeep's rear windshield. He did not inform anyone he fired the shot, leading the Fugitive Task Force and other CPD officers to believe the suspect had shot at them. Point 1 in response. U.S. Marshal McLeod and Officers Napoleon, Mays, and Esquivel each discharged their weapons, firing approximately 71 times at the suspect. The press release says that Chicago Police Department officers responded to a call for assistance from U.S. Marshals and Cook County Sheriff's deputies who were attempting to apprehend a suspect on a warrant. The suspect was armed and would not exit the vehicle. As the officers attempted to implement a plan to break the rear window of the vehicle, they heard a single gunshot, which they believed came from the vehicle. 3 CPD officers and 1 U.S. Marshal discharged their firearms multiple times, fatally striking the suspect. That is all for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have an amazing night. Please watching another video that is now linked on the screen.